Hello and welcome to the theory side of TAC-02 lesson of the 617th Squadron in the 132nd Visual Wing. This video is based on the lesson presentation. A link to this presentation can be found in the video description. The high-level objective of this lesson is to provide the fundamentals of performing the wingman role in a two-ship flight over Aten seas in a tactical situation. The specific objectives are outlined in this slide. We will start with a short repetition of items covered in the Weapons 01 lesson. The wingman is in charge of maintaining visual on the lead and deconflicting the flight at all times. A lost wingman is a situation in which the wingman loses visual contact. This is an inherently dangerous situation as there is basically no one deconflicting the two aircraft. The key is to remember that we should make the situation better and not worse. The first thing to do is to alert the flight lead by calling blind and stating altitude and heading. At the same time, the wingman will have a quick look around and make sure the other aircraft is not dangerously close, for example 10 meters above your head or something of this order. If the flight is climbing, descending or turning when the visual contact is lost, the wingman should maintain its attitude as much as possible and avoid unnecessary maneuvering. Remember, we need to stabilize the situation and not escalate it. If at low level, climb at least up to 1000 feet above ground level to avoid terrain. Once an imminent danger is mitigated, a quick look at the TAD should assist to quickly reacquire the other aircraft. As soon as the flight lead is informed of the lost wingman, he'll also have a quick look around, followed by a quick look to the TAD. Once a visual contact is regained, the flight lead will instruct the wingman on how to rejoin into formation. Some brevity. Visual: the pilot sees a friendly unit with Mark 1 eyeball. Tally means that the pilot sees an enemy with Mark 1 eyeball. Capture means pilot sees an enemy through TGP. Contact means pilot sees anything that's not definitive, such as a road, house, bridge, etc. A contact refers to any method, such as Mark 1 eyeball, TGP, SADL, etc. Remember that a contact may sometimes be elevated to a capture or a tally if determined as an enemy. Stripped: a call made by the wingman if he falls behind and needs the flight lead to slow down for rejoining. Saddled means okay, now back in formation. The full list of responsibilities of the flight lead and the wingman is outlined here. In general, it is the job of the flight lead to solve the mission and provide mutual support for the wingman, and it is the wingman's job to not fly into the flight lead and support the flight lead in solving the mission. This support comes in several ways, as listed in this slide. On some occasions, the flight lead may decide to push the wingman into being the engaged fighter. The process is simple and it is outlined here. The lead initiates it by calling 2 press, and the wingman responds by 2 engaged. And the flight lead concludes it by calling 1 supporting. Examples for situations when pressing the wingman is useful are: example 1, wingman has capture on a pop-up target. Pressing him to lead the specific attack might be quicker than doing a target handover to the flight lead. A second example, if the wingman has more suitable ordnance for a specific target. If this is the case, it is more reasonable for the wingman to lead the attack with the flight lead supporting him. The fencing is the process in which we prepare our flight for battle. The abbreviation contains all the systems that are involved and which should be configured before we get into the battle. My personal way of performing the fence is to run through the cockpit from left to right and setting up as follows: radios, DSMS, SADL, jammer settings, countermeasures panel, yardstick, and external lights. The 3 points attack brief is done after the flight has a target to attack, but while still holding in the initial point. The brief is delivered by the engaged fighter and is intended to align both pilots on exactly how the upcoming attack is going to be executed. As can be seen in this slide, the 3 points we are talking about are where we start the attack, how we do the attack, and what do we do after we shoot. Items that are critical, such as target deconfliction in a shooter-shooter attack, should be read back by the supporting fighter. Remember that it is better to spend a few extra seconds in the holding point to refine the plan than to conduct a hasty, poorly planned attack. This would often backfire at us by forcing a dry run and require a re-attack. It's both a waste of time and it also increases the risk to the aircraft that are going close to enemy units without actually shooting at anything. As can be seen in this slide, shooter-shooter attacks can either be executed with both aircraft shooting simultaneously or with spacing. When a target is being handed over between the pilots, there's always a risk of a wrong target being picked up by the receiving pilot. To mitigate this, we make use of the target elevation and we always avoid telling the receiving pilot what is the target that he should be looking at. The idea is to provide a mark, such as a spear or a laser spot, tell the receiving pilot to look at it, and then he needs to describe what he sees there. The description should be short and effective and always include the elevation as read from the TGP. An example of how it should sound like after number 2 is picking up a SPI provided by the flight lead. 2. Contact SPI, contact track on the road facing south. 2. 1. That is your target. 2. Capture target. It should be noted that as of this time we only use the SPI and not the tasking system. However, this may change in the near future and will be amplified as needed by the instructor pilot prior to the practical part of this lesson. This concludes the theory part of the lesson. For any question, please do ping us before we go for the practical exercise. Thank you for watching and good hunting!